and welcome to Pilates. I'm Vicky, and today we're going to be doing a seated Pilates session. So you just need to be sat in a nice sturdy chair with no arms, so that we can just work through a little bit of flexibility through our upper body and a little bit of strength through our legs and flexibility through feet and ankles. So we're going to start just finding a nice comfortable seat on the chair, but I want you to just be slightly away from the back of the chair so you can sit up really nice and tall. And I just want you to have your feet underneath your knees and hip width apart. So you've got nice alignment through both the legs, all the way through feet, knees, hips, and then up to shoulders. I'm going to sit as tall as we can through the upper body. And just to start with, we're going to have a little think about our posture. So at the moment, you should be sat on those sitting bones. You should feel those sitting bones on the chair. And I'm just going to get you to try and roll backwards off the sitting bones and curl the spine. So if I'm sideways on, we're going to just roll off the sitting bones and curl the spine. And then we're going to come up tall on the sitting bones and then roll forward. So you're almost lifting those sitting bones up and resting more on the thigh. So we're going to curl back and then come up tall and roll forward. And just do a few of those. Curling back, rolling back on those sitting bones, and then coming up all the way tall and then forward, pushing that belly button forward. Feel like you're arching through that lower spine, and then again coming down and back. Good. And then lifting forward and up. And if you can, just think about your breath. So think about breathing in as you come forward, breathing out as you come back, and then roll backwards. If that doesn't work for you, just keep breathing. Make sure you don't hold your breath. I'm just going to do two more, rolling all the way backwards, trying to breathe out. Good. And then coming forwards and up. Good. One more time. Breathe out. Roll backwards. Breathe in. Come forwards. And then I want you to come to that midpoint, halfway between the two. So you feel you're sat on your sitting bones and your spine's up really nice and tall. And I want you just to make sure you're not sticking your chin up into the air. So tuck your chin down, lengthen through the back of the neck. Imagine from the crown of your head, you've just got a little thread pulling you up nice and tall all the way through the spine. So from the sacrum, that tailbone, in between the sitting bones, all the way through to the crown of your head, you're nice and long all the way through. And from there, we're just going to do some nice big shoulder circles. So just really taking shoulders up towards ears, squeezing the shoulder blades together, glide those shoulder blades down, away from your ears, and then squeeze them forward. So coming up, back, down, and forward. Good. And again, up, back, down, and forward. One more time in that direction. Up, back, down, and forward. And then from there, so let's go up again, but this time we go forward. So shorten in between the front, back, up, together. So forward, sorry, go down. We missed that one out last time. Back and up. So you're thinking of going the other way round. Think about you moving through those shoulder blades. Keep breathing. Good. Back, up, forward, down, back. One more time. Up, forward, down, and back. Good, well done. Okay, from there, so just make sure you're sat on those sitting bones, thinking nice and tall all the way through the spine, through the crown of the head, tuck that chin down. I just want you to think about those shoulder blades being wide, so really nice wide collarbones, nice gap ear to shoulder, keeping that chin tucked down, so make sure you don't end up pointing your chin up. So from here, I'm going to get you to pop your hands onto your thighs. We're going to glide our right hand forward, our left hand back. I'm going to twist our breastbone round to the left. And then coming back through to the front, good. We're going to breathe out, then twist to the right. So left hand forward, right hand back on the thigh, and then come through to the centre. And again, same on the other side. So glide your right hand forward, left hand back on your thighs, twisting round. And as well as moving the hands, we're really thinking about twisting that breastbone round to the side as well. So we get twisting rotation all the way through the spine. Good. Back to the centre. Twist round. Good. Make sure you're up nice and tall through the spine still. Good. I'm going to breathe out. Breathe in, come to the centre. Good. Breathe out. And in, come to the centre. Good. One more on either side. Come to the centre. Last one. Good. Then come back to the centre. Good. Well done. So from there, just make sure you're sat on those sitting bones. You're nice and tall through the spine. Tuck that chin down, shoulders wide. And this time we're going to do some side bending. So we're going to drop our right hand down towards the floor, or you can just gently hold onto the underneath of the chair if you want to. And we're going to, if you're comfortable to, we're going to take that left arm up and over. So we're just going to gently open up through the side. If you need to hold onto the chair just for a little bit, so you feel a little bit unbalanced, and hold onto the chair. If you feel able to, you can reach the fingertips down towards the floor. Keep breathing. Good. I'm going to come up tall. Left hand comes down, right hand comes up and over. Again, hold onto the chair if you need to. Trying to open up through that right side. Good. Coming up tall. Back down. Let's go to the right. Good. Coming back up tall and down. Let's go to the left. Up to the ceiling with that right arm and over. If that's painful through your shoulders, you can just keep your arms on your chest and come down. Coming back up to the centre. Same through the other side. So if you're happy with the arms, you can come into that arm movement. Come back down. Good. Let's go one more on either side. Good. Last one onto the left. Good, well done. From there, I'm just going to get you to have a little lift and lower of the feet, and then bring them back underneath your knees. So you're up nice and tall through the spine, sitting on those sitting bones, lengthening all the way through, back of the neck, crown of the head. We're going to keep those shoulder blades down, so you've got a nice gap ear to shoulder, and your collarbones nice and wide. Relax your hands just gently onto your thighs to begin with. And from here, I'm just going to gently get you thinking about your feet a little bit. So trying to get mobility through your feet. So our feet get stiff very easily. And especially as we get older, unfortunately, our feet just get really stiff and quite immobile. So we can try and work on mobilising through the feet. Then hopefully that will just help with balance and mobility. So from here, up nice and tall, we're going to just gently think about keeping our belly button in towards our spine. So we're really just looking after that lower back and staying up nice and tall. So it's easy when we're thinking about our legs to sink down into a more slouched position, but we're going to try and maintain that nice tall position. So we're just going to get you just on your right foot to lift your toes up off the floor. Doesn't matter if they don't go far, just go as far as you feel comfortable going. And then we're going to lower them back down again. Same on the other side. Lift the toes and lower the toes back down again. Good. So tall through the spine. Pull that belly button in towards your spine. Lifting the toes on the right foot and slowly lowering down. Good. Same on the other side. Lifting the toes up and lowering down. And then this time, and it's hard work to do this, but we're going to lift those toes up and we're going to try and spread the toes out. So lifting the toes up and then try and spread the toes out and place the toes back down a bit more spread out. Good. Same on the left. Lift the toes up, spread the toes out, and then lower the foot back down, the toes back down. Good. Well done. Let's do one more on either side. Lift the toes up. Spread the toes out and then lower back down. And it doesn't matter if your toes aren't spreading much, it's just that trying to get the muscles working to lift and spread. So lift the toes up and then try and spread the toes out and then lower back down again. Good, okay. So from here, I'm going to get you to just gently, maybe bring your hands either a little bit further up or just rest them down by your side. But again, keep that nice long spine, keep that belly button pulled in towards your spine. And then from there, either with your hands just gently resting on your thighs or gently holding on or just resting your hands underneath the chair, we're going to just do a little heel lift and then lower back down again. So from that seated position, I'm going to lift the heel up onto your toes and then lower back down. And then same on the other side. So lifting your heel up and lowering back down. And we're going to keep that nice long spine, lifting the heel up and lowering back down. Good. So as you lift the heel up, the knee comes up and you might feel like that pressure comes off the back of the chair a little bit. If you feel like your legs are a bit too short to reach the floor, you can always put a couple of books or a box underneath your feet, so it just brings your feet up towards you a little bit. If you feel like you're really struggling to reach the floor, then you might just want to put something underneath you to bring your feet up a little bit. Good. So stay up tall through the spine, wide through the collarbones, length through the back of the neck, crown of the head. Good. And again, lifting up and lowering down. So just lifting the heel all the way up onto the toes and lower back down. Good. And again, lifting up onto the toes and back down. Let's do one more on either side. Good. And lowering back down. Last one. Good. And lower back down. Okay, so from there, again, I'm going to get you to do a slightly tricky one that just works on the small muscles inside the feet. But I'm going to get you to think about your right foot to start with. And we're going to just gently think about that arch on the medial side of the foot, sorry, on the inside edge, so that little arch on the inside of your foot. And we're going to just try and flatten that arch down towards the floor. So I don't want you rolling your knee too far in, but just trying to push that arch down into the floor. And then I want you to try and lift that arch up and away, and you're going to roll onto the outer edge of the foot. So we're going to flatten that arch down, think about lengthening through the toes, and then we're going to lift the arch up and open the foot up onto the outside edge of the foot. So again, it doesn't matter if you don't go far, so flatten that arch down, think about the toes lengthening out, and then lift the arch up, and you can almost curl the toes slightly as you roll onto the outside edge of the foot. So lengthening that medial arch down, lengthening through big toe, and then lifting and rolling onto the outside edge. So you'll get a little bit of knee movement, but try and really work on that foot movement. So flattening down through the arch, lengthening through the big toe, and then lifting that arch up. Imagine someone's just going to slide something in underneath that arch, and you're just going to lift up and open up onto the outside edge of the foot. Let's do two more, flattening that arch down, lengthening through. Good. And then lifting that arch up and rolling onto the outside edge of the foot. Good. Last one, flattening down, lengthen through the toes, flatten through the arch, and then lift and arch, rolling onto the outside of the foot. Good. And then come back to the centre. Just replace that foot as you need to, and then we'll work on that left side. So we're going to think about flattening that arch on the inner edge of the foot and lengthening the big toe, and then we're going to lift that arch up. Imagine someone's just kind of slide something underneath it, and we're going to roll onto the outer edge of the foot. And again, flatten down. So don't mind how much movement you get. So if you feel like you're not getting a lot of movement, that's fine. Our feet, as I say, can get really stiff, but just trying to get those muscles moving and those joints moving in the foot should just start to help balance. And if you can come back and revisit this and work through the feet, the more regularly you do it, the better your feet will feel, the more pliable your feet will feel. So you're going to lift the arch up, roll onto the outside edge of the foot, and then lower through the medial arch, and then lengthen through the big toe. Good. And come back up again. Arch. Increases, roll onto the outside edge of the foot, and then lengthen down through the big toe. Good. And again, lifting up through the arch, rolling onto the outside edge of the foot, and then lengthening through the big toe, flattening down on that arch. Good. Keep going for me. Arching up, rolling onto the outside edge of the foot. The toes can curl under a little bit, and then lengthening down through the arch, lengthening through the toe. Good. And then coming back up again. So small, subtle movements, but just trying to increase that foot and ankle mobility. Good. Arching up onto the outside edge of the foot. Good. Lengthening through the big toe, flattening through that arch. Good. And then lifting up. Imagine that you're just going to slide a couple of fingers underneath that arch. And then flatten down. Lengthen through the big toe. We'll do one more. Lifting up, stay up nice and tall through your spine. You might have found that you've sunk down a little bit, slouch down. Good. And then lengthen through that big toe. Good. And then relax through. Good. Well done. Have a little wiggle in your seat. Good. And then from there, we just again make sure you're sitting on your sitting bones. You're nice and tall through your spine, through the back of the neck, crown of the head. Just tuck your chin down gently, shoulders down and back. So collarbones nice and wide, nice gap ear to shoulder. So from here, you can just gently hold onto the chair again. So we're going to do a little knee lift. So we're going to just do this little kind of marching on the spot. I want you to think about putting your belly button in towards your spine as you lift and as you lower. Keep that belly button pulled in. We're going to breathe out and lift. Breathe in and lower. Breathe out and lift. And you might feel that one hip works better on when you do this, or it's quite hard work and you feel like you want to almost lean back a little bit. So if that's the case, you can just do a bit of a heel lift. Try and take the weight of the foot off the floor rather than lifting the whole foot. So it's going to be different for everyone. Lifting up, lower down. Good. Breathing out, breathing in to come down. Good. Just little lifts and lowers. Good. So if you need to keep your toe on the floor, you can do. If one leg lifts more than the other, you can do. But just try and keep that nice long spine, that belly button pulled in towards your spine. Good. So if we can do two more on either side. Good. Last ones. Good. And relax down. Have a little break. I'm just going to get you to tuck your chin down towards your chest. We're going to curl down through the spine and we're going to kind of almost slump down into a bad posture. So big curve through the spine, and then we're going to sit up nice and tall again. Let's curl down, chin to chest, curl through. And then coming up tall. We're going to do one more of those, curling down, chin to chest, taking that breastbone deep in, roll backwards off the sitting bones, curl through the spine, good, and then coming up tall again. And I want you to come up nice and tall, so you've got equal weight through the sitting bones, you're nice and tall through the spine, tall through the back of the neck, crown of the head, tuck that chin down, collarbones wide, shoulders down. We're going to pull belly button in towards your spine, and this time, we're going to just gently, again you can hold on to the underneath of the chair, we're going to just step your foot out to the side and step it back in again. So breathe out, breathe in. If the breathing doesn't work for you, make sure you keep breathing, just don't hold your breath. Good. Breathe out, step the foot out to the side, breathe in, come back in. So it works through the thighs and the hips, stepping out, coming back in. We're keeping the upper body nice and still. Good. Breathe out and breathe in. Good. Stay tall through the spine. Again, it's easy for this one for you to kind of sink back and do it here. So try and stay as tall as you can. Out to the side, back in. Good. Out to the side, back in. You can hold onto the chair for a little bit of support. Good. Breathe out. Breathe in. out. Have a rest if you need a rest. If you can do 2 more on either side, then keep going with me. Good. Good. Last one. Good, well done, and relax off. So you might feel that through your hips a little bit, and just come up nice and tall again. And then we're just going to think about stretching out through the legs. So I'm going to get you to just shuffle, if you feel safe to, just shuffle to the edge of the chair a little bit. We're going to lengthen your left leg out in front. Okay, and from there I'm just going to get you to rest your hands onto your thigh and gently lean forward, and you might start to feel a stretch through the back of the leg. There, I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. So just lengthening through, you should feel a bit of a stretch through the back of the leg. If you feel you can and you need to, you can lengthen slightly further forward and reach down towards your toes. But just go until you start to feel that stretch. Good. Keep breathing. I'm going to hold it for one more breath there. And then we're going to come up tall, we're going to slide that leg in, and then we're going to lengthen the other leg out, hands onto the right thigh, and then slide your hands down until you start to feel a stretch through the back of the leg. Again, you can go further down towards the toes if you feel able to, but just until you feel a stretch through the back of that right leg. Good. And then gently come back up again. We're going to do one more stretch, and this is optional. You can have a go, or maybe just watch me and see how you feel about it. We're going to try and stretch through the front of the hips, which often get really tight. So if we tend to sit a lot, which especially at the moment we're tending to sit more than we probably would do normally, you can get really tight through your hip flexors, and that can pull in your back and give you a bit of tension and aching through the lower back and the hips. So I'm going to get you to shuffle to the edge of the chair. If that doesn't feel right for you, you don't have to do it, that's fine. We're going to just slide your left leg back. So rest you can take your right leg forward slightly. And we're just going to try and take that foot back behind us, so you just open up through here. So try and stay nice and tall. Hold onto the chair, stay nice and tall through the spine. You can just gently think about pushing the hip forward, and you should feel a bit of a stretch through the front of that left leg. Good. Holding it there, keep breathing. If you feel like it's too wobbly, don't worry, you don't have to do this one, but it's just a nice one to try and open up through the front of the hip if it's available to you, but no pressure. Sometimes just lying on your back on the bed and just really opening up through the front of the hips, laying nice and flat, really lengthening through the legs is quite a nice one to do as well for this muscle. Good. I'm going to come back on, and we're going to do the other side. So we're going to stay in your seated position. Left leg forward, right leg comes back behind you gently. You can hold onto the chair. You're going to step tall through the spine, push the hip forward. See if you can just open up through the front of the hip. It might be that you're a little bit further forward, that's fine. You can come a little bit further back. Then again, just go with what works for you. Don't do anything that doesn't feel right. Good, keep breathing. Let's hold it for one more breath. Well done. Good, well done. So hopefully you enjoyed that, and if you feel like it was good and you can just carry on working at it, then come and revisit it when you feel able to, just to get some mobility through the spine and some strength work through the legs. Well done, I hope you enjoyed it. Take care. Bye.